A senseless murder leaves a family in shreds and a community wondering how it all happened. Nabra Hassanen's brutal death has already made it into the political arena. A Muslim victim, an illegal immigrant, allegedly the killer. And was it road rage or was it a hate crime? Joining us now is Dr. Zainab Chaudhry, Outreach Manager for the Metro Area's Council on American Islamic Relations. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
The first question, are you troubled that this is not being investigated, at least police are saying right now, as a hate crime?
Well, we definitely want to make sure that law enforcement is doing their due diligence to uncover all of the facts in this investigation and make sure that they get to the bottom of what happened, especially in this political climate when we've seen an uptick in Islamophobia and a tremendous spike in hate crimes and bias attacks against Muslims and people who are perceived to be Muslim. We want to make sure that this is not being just written off as a road rage incident or, something along those lines when there could, in fact, be a possible bias motive.
Because we've seen this before. I know you made mention in an earlier interview about the Chapel Hill killings back in 2015 where 3 Muslim students were killed, and that was not classified as a hate crime. And you said you've seen an uptick. Given what's happening, how fearful is the Muslim community, in your opinion, right now about perhaps being targets, if they are at all?
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that really has brought back memories for many members of our communities of the terrible Chapel Hill shootings, which there was a clear bias element in that particular case, and that was written off as a parking dispute. And unfortunately, too many times these kind of incidents, they're not given the kind of attention that they deserve from law enforcement in terms of being classified with the appropriate label. And especially in this particular instance, this was a young woman. She was at the mosque. She wasn't doing anything wrong. It was a holy month of Ramadan. She was with friends. They were headed back to the mosque to pray. And the circumstances under which she was brutally murdered has really shaken not only the Adams community in Northern Virginia, but really Muslims across the country.
And it's become politicized, really, because the alleged killer is an illegal immigrant. And we have seen over and over again in the media where, there's been this calls for illegals, particularly who commit crimes, to be deported. And one thing that really we wanted to discuss in this segment is that, we seem to not be hearing from these voices who are so vehement about immigrants who commit crimes being deported. Does that surprise you, and do you think there's a bias at play here?
Well, I think it's very important to not paint the entire community with the same brushstroke. The Muslim community particularly know what it's like to have one individual's actions or crime be reflective of the entire community. And for an individual to be undocumented, for that to be reflective of the entire immigrant community, I think is a grave mistake, and we have to be very careful to not subscribe this individual's actions to all immigrants.
Well, certainly we don't want to paint everyone with a broad brushstroke, but should we be talking about it more, considering that in other cases where someone who's undocumented has committed a crime, that seems to be discussed more? The people are asking, is there a bias at play here?
I think that as the investigation goes on, more facts will be uncovered. And right now, our main priority is to obtain justice for Nabra and her family. The circumstances under which she was brutally murdered were just devastating to the family, to the community, to the friends. Yesterday, I was at the funeral, and there was such a tremendous outpouring of support. Thousands and thousands of people came out to pay their final respects to her. And I think right now our main focus is really to demand justice for Nabra and her family. And regardless of the way that the way that the investigation is framed in terms of the suspects being documented or undocumented, I think it's very important to not paint the entire community with the same broad brushstroke again, and just focus on the facts that this is an individual who committed a horrible crime.
Right.
And we want to make sure that if there is a bias element, that is also uncovered, and the family is given that peace of mind of knowing that they were delivered justice for their daughter.
Still so many questions. Zainab Chaudhry, thank you so much for joining us and helping us put some of this into perspective. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.